Hello everybody and welcome to another Sunday Million show on POKERSTARS.tv. I'm Nick Wealthall and these are the highlights from the 14th of August, the dog days of summer. That's still over 6,500 runners, making up a prize pool of $1.3 million. It doesn't ever not be huge on a Sunday Million. And yeah, that was correct grammar for those of you checking. We've got action straight away. Hand number 2 of the million. Final table, 125 and 250,000 are your blinds. And one of the bigger stacks, K. Michael from the Russian Federation, has opened with queens, and it's a little bit of a setup for Garfield from Germany. He was pretty short stacked, or is pretty short stacked, with 1.5 million and change. That's in the middle. Microve will get out the way, as will Sievers. Dynasty folds the ace-10. And we'll have our first showdown of the final table with K. Michael in great shape to knock out Garfield. No one should do that to a lovely cartoon cat. That's exactly what he's going to do, unless a jack comes here. K. Michael in charge of this one. And that's how it stays on the river. So he's up to almost 14.5 million. Garfield leaves us in 9th. And the German player takes home just over $10,000, leaving us 8-handed. And K. Michael kept his cards. Can you do that? He didn't. It's a few hands on, but pretty nice to keep getting dealt big pocket pairs. Sievers is all in with 5s. Actually, reasonably big shove. And he's not going to like getting reshoved on here by K. Michael. Look at the decision facing Cynical Fish. Has the ace-king offsuit with the big stack shoving in front of him. This is a little bit tough, I guess. He's got about 30 big blinds. He's thinking it through. And he does decide to put his money in. Don't think that was automatic. It was such a big hand to fold, isn't it? Anyway, we're going to have a big race. Sievers is in real trouble here with the 5s. And Cynical Fish, also an underdog. They call it a flip, but Queens versus Ace-King has a decent edge to the Queens. K. Michael could knock out 2 players here. That's how it looks after the flop. Big pot this one, so early in the final table. 3 doesn't change anything. The only club is held by K. Michael, so he's in great shape. And that 4th club on the board gives him a flush and gives him all the chips, knocking out Sievers and Cynical Fish in one fell swoop. Sievers from Norway leaves with 15,500. Cynical Fish from Croatia, 28,700. And a little bit quicker than usual, we're playing 6 max in the million. K. Michael suddenly really in charge of this final table with over 26 million chips. We'll calm down a little bit, I think. Still playing 125, 250. And Sir Cool will open on the button. Flat call from Abaza. Not too sure about that one with the ace-4. Not an easy hand to play out of position. Well, he'll flop a gut shot with the ace overcard. Sir Cool with top pair, as you can see. In control here. Pretty nice to flop such a big hand on the button. Because nobody ever has anything on the button. Fact. Abarza will check. So Cool from Sweden. Deciding, perhaps toying with the idea of slow playing this top pair hand. But decides not to mess around and bets it. And Abarza will call at least one street. His ace-high could be winning here. 5 of spades. Well, if he thought his ace-high could be good on the flop, that probably isn't going to change too much on the turn. So Cool will be thinking what value he can get, whether he can get 2 or 3 streets. He decided to check the turn and does make the full house on the river. Doesn't change anything in the sense that, of course, he was leading and has been leading from the flop onwards. Now, how much does he think he can get paid here? 2.5 million in the pot. Barca has plenty behind. He'll bet a little less than half the pot, and he will get a very quick call from ace high. Barca thinking he was being bluffed there. That check on the turn from a call, I guess, paying off on the river, and he'll take that one down. Quick check on our leaderboard, six-handed. K. Michael with the big chips. Russian Federation player in control, and he continued to chip up. Ponga 80, we haven't seen in action, falling back a little bit. So pretty tightly packed stacks behind K. Michael, but he's a big, big chip leader. I don't often see someone this far out in front with 6 players left. But can he convert it to a win? It's easier said than done playing Hold'em when the blinds get big. We know that. We see it every week. Things do change. Dynasty with Pocket Kings has opened this pot. And Mike Groove has just over 10 big blinds. And we'll flat call with the 4s, which is a different way to go because things get tricky after the flop. I mean, that's obviously not the worst flop in the world for a pair of 4s. Unlikely to have improved Dynasty's hand. Of course, we can see Dynasty doesn't need to improve his hand with the 2 cowboys. Mike Groove now playing guessing games, out of position with the 4s. Not too many chips behind. Well, he's going to shove. Can't imagine Dynasty will do anything other than snap him off. And Mike Groove from the Netherlands looks like he's going to finish in 6th spot. Needs to find the miracle 4 on the river. And that won't change anything. So Dynasty's building a dynasty in this tournament. He's over 13 million in chips. Mike Groove heading for the exit door. In 6th spot, $41,700 for the Dutch player. Leaves us 5-handed. And still playing blinds of 150, 300,000. Barca will raise to 2.1 million. Huge raise. Committing raise. And a couple of hands behind him. Decisions here for Dynasty. And K. Michael. Well, Dynasty will be looking at that raise and thinking, that's a big raise. He might get a little bit more analytical than that, to be honest. He decides to re-raise, and K. Michael with the ace-king suited behind will put his money in the middle. He's going to try and knock out 2 players again. The Barca won't oblige after putting in all those chips. A lot of his stack now folds. And Dynasty with the decision. Again, not an automatic decision with a pair of 8s. He must think that K. Michael must know he doesn't have much fold equity here. And Dynasty gives him credit. Well, there's a lot of money in the middle there, so a pretty big laydown from Dynasty. And the only result, which is pretty much the only result we've had so far at this final table, is that K. Michael builds his stack. So call folds under the gun. And Barca picks up a pocket pair, and in goes his remaining 3.3 million. Ponga 80 with the decision here, and he will make a quick call with ace-jack, and we will have a classic race. 7 million chips in the middle means a lot to these 2 players. Barca is all in, and Barca is all out, I'm afraid. Ponga 80 doesn't stand on ceremony in the race. Locks things up pretty much on the flop, and he'll take this one down. Barca will leave the tournament. 5th place for the Lebanese player, $54,800. Now, we'd love to see you at a final table. We're going to give you a free chance to make it. Our free roll can be found by hitting Tourney Free Roll and finding the online poker show free roll. We'll give you the password to that later in the show.
Growing up on the circuit, everyone wanted to offer me advice. When to bet, when to fold, when to raise, what to wear, what to eat. But there was one piece of advice that took me to a new level.
Daniel, don't do anything stupid.
At PokerStars.com, there's a tournament starting every second. Develop your game at the world's largest poker site.
Welcome back to the Million Final Table, where it's the K. Michael 14 show. We're four-handed, and he's got big, big chips. Ponga 80 would move up a little bit over the next few hands through Dynasty, but that doesn't change the overall situation. K. Michael with more than 50% of the chips in play. And the question is, can anyone stop him winning the million? Sakul will open raise here. Sakul, a player with a bit of form. He's final tabled a W Coupe last year. Speaking of which, the W Coupe is just around the corner, 3 weeks or so away. Looking forward to bringing you highlights of some of the big final tables for this year's W Coupe. Meanwhile, back in the million, Ponga has outflopped Sakul here. But Sakul will check it back. And turns out to be a rewarding check back. Finds a queen on the turn. Ponga 80 will bet his 9 here. It's a small bet, which Sakul can call, appropriately enough. 5 diamonds doesn't change anything. Ponga 80 in danger of value owning himself here. But no, he decides to check. Now Sakul will probably be able to figure out he has the best hand here. Not too much that Ponga 80 would play like this that beats him. And yeah, he does make the value bet. So I think pretty standard value bet, but still a good one to make. It gives Ponga 80 the decision. There's a few misdraws out there. But then again, he's not beating a whole bunch with his ace-9. It's a tempting bet, isn't it? 1.1 million. The pot is 4.6 million. And Ponga does make the call. So, decent value bet for Sakul there on the river. And he'll take that one down. Still playing four-handed. 200,000, 400,000 blinds. And Dynasty will open this pot on the button. Okay, Michael folds, and Ponga 80 will flat call with the a7. Another flat call out the blinds with a raggy ace. Tough to play these hands out of position. Ponga 80 is ahead on this flop, whether he knows it or not. Another matter. Just under 2 million in the pot, and Dynasty will make a pretty standard continuation bet. Ponga 80 with the ace high, and tough for me to advise him because I don't know what you're supposed to do with ace high out of position like this. Hope. Pray, guess, check raise. There you go, that was the answer, check raise. Well, he's bluffing with the best hand, although he can't know that. And Dynasty hasn't automatically folded. Perhaps thinking about doing something creative here. The stacks aren't too deep, and he does fold, and you get the sense that maybe Dynasty might have thought about rebluffing there with different chip stacks, but Ponga takes it down. One of those where probably thinks he made a superstar play and in actual fact had the best hand. Always amuses me how much bluffing is done with the best hand. Someone should get an exact figure on that. Homework for you all. Sakul in the small blind, and he'll shove and get instantly called by Dynasty. He's found a great spot to get his money in here. As you can see, a healthy favourite, although Dynasty is the all-in player. Good spot for him. Big pot for both players.